Hi everybody. Well, we're back. Back with the crazy radio, and we just finished section 9, and we pretty much completed the radio. So now there's a few things that I want to show you, and there's a reason why it's been a while since I've did the last video and worked on all this. I went and really started looking at this radio a bit, and there's a lot of things that are going on with it. Like that one guy said in the reviews, he said he knew people that got it and there wasn't a problem with it. He had to change like 3 or 4 parts. Well, you know, like I said, I'll go over, I think I just use another video to go over that, because we're still going to get the AM to work, but it's just that's going to have to be another deal. Now, right now we're finished here. We got the FM together. I'll turn it up. Maybe you kind of hear that. That's coming out of the earpiece. That's the FM. So, hurrah! Okay, let's take a look at the instructions here for a second, and let's see what it says about 9. Okay, section 9. As always, we put it all together. This is where we do the FM radio frequency amplifier, the mixer, the oscillator, and the AFC stage. And turn it off. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to check the bias on each of these. So at first we want to check the bias of Q3. So let's get this out and get this together. And I'll swing this around so we can see what's going on here. Okay. There we go. Bring the meter up. You can see that. Probably not. This is so dark in here, and I just don't have the lights to move this here like that. I have to edit all this, I guess. There we go. Okay. Let's turn on the voltage. And Q3. Let's see what our hook this up here. Run another one to the number 15, which is our always ground, right? Okay, so ground on here, turn power on, and let's check the base of Q3, which is this right here. I'm getting 1.5. Okay, so write that down. 1.5. Now there's some other dynamics that they want us to do for bandwidth, but my oscilloscope, it might not have the captance that's needed, so it doesn't work really well. So I kind of skipped that one. So now let's go to the next one, and we'll try Q2. Okay, we'll go right down the line. Let's try the bias of Q2. Putting that on the base, I get 3.24. So I'm going to write that down here. 3.24 Q2 bias. Okay. Now let's Let's do our last one. Let's do Q1, the bias on Q1. Okay, and that's all the way over here. And for that, I'm getting 1.5. All right. Back off again. So now, it says here, alignment with no test equipment. Okay, and it tells you if you want to start out, if you turn your coils all the way counterclockwise, that brings them out as far as you can, but you don't want to force them. And then you turn them in 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 for like just like a standard let's get started here setting. So we've got them there. Now it says connect your VOM to the circuit as shown in figure 52, where they're taking it to test point 2. And it says adjust T2 for minimum voltage and T1. Okay, so here's this. Let's grab a line. It says hook this up to T2. So that's all the way over here by the switch. That's not there anymore. Okay. It says turn it to a weak station, so we'll do that. We'll turn it on. Okay, I kind of got it on a weak station right now. And I got the ear coil in, or the ear thing in, just to kind of hear to make sure. And it says adjust T1 for minimum voltage. Okay, here's T1. All right, I'm starting to turn it in. And it's going down, very small, but it's going down. And I took it all the way out. It's all the way out, and that's well, it came back up. So let's turn it in just a bit. So now there it's going up. And that's about the minimum voltage. We really took it off the station, but that's okay. Okay, just T2 for a minimum. Okay, let's go to T2. Going up. So 9. Okay, that's about it right there. Okay. Now it says go to T3 and do the same thing. So we're going to go to T3. And I'm adjusting down. Okay. And now it says adjust T4 for minimum voltage. This is the detector. It's going up. That's going up. 69, 64, 62. 61, 60, 59, going back up there. So okay, that's the lowest we can get. Now last one, and it says adjust T5 for minimum distortion. Oh, man. All right. Okay, so we got that. Now it says tune the radio to a known station around 90. Okay. Okay, we're going to have to stop for a second here, and I got to figure out which station is the low station. So let's pause this. Alright, we're back, and like I said, we kind of went through the checking the bias like they tell us to in there. Unfortunately, my old B&K oscilloscope, I don't know if there's a deal with it that it's doing something with the captance, but I have a real hard time getting a signal on it, so I'm trying to read what they're telling me to do. So that's why I've been kind of going by the not having equipment. And now, when you get to the very end, if you bought this radio, they have two different things. They got the alignment with no test equipment, and then they've got the alignment with your test equipment. And they give you this one thing that's called the magic wand. It's here somewhere, and you basically put it together. It's like it's a tube. Okay, one end. I don't even see this or not. One end has like a brass piece on it, and the other one has like iron, or steel, whatever. And there's different tests you do. Like if you take and you put your brass close to this here, and it does something, well then you tune and adjust. Same way if you put like the steel to it. Because you'll find that with FM, you have these small coils. And by opening the coils up and pushing the coils together, you actually adjust the frequency. Matter of fact, there are some little transmitters that people build and stuff that they don't even have a trimming capacitor. They just use the coil, and you open the coil up, and then you can transmit like on 91, and you push the coil together, and you can transmit like on 100 or whatever. So that coil does a lot as far as adjusting the frequency. Now, I went through here, and like I said, I think I'm going to do it in the next video, because I want to just dedicate one video to kind of explain what's been going on and what we do after here. But little things like here's your tuning capacitor, right? Well, if you try to work on it and there's adjustments in the back where you can adjust, you might lose your completely, and then you just touch it again and it's back on. And especially when you start adjusting in the back, then it's real shaky. So, and there's times I've just hit this, tapped it real lightly, and it changes frequencies completely. So I think this is part of the AM problem too. If you notice here, I don't have a switch. Why? Because the switch that came with it was like a piece of junk, and it was falling apart. And that's why I try to switch between AM and FM, and sometimes it would be no signal. I'd have to jiggle a little bit, and all of a sudden I'd get like part of it in and part of it not. And I'm thinking, my goodness. And that's when I started reading that guy's review. He said he had to replace all that. He had to replace the off-on volume control. He had to replace the switch. He didn't mention the trimming capacitor, the gang capacitor, but I'm thinking the way it feels and bounces around. Yeah. Same way with a couple of the transistors. I had to replace the transistors that came with it because through trying to adjust and work, they just fell apart. So I put some 2N 2222s in there, which when I went and looked in the spec sheet, they matched up really well. So, okay, matter of fact, these should be a little bit stronger. Hold them in the same frequency, do everything it has to do, and still work. So I put them in. Now I just got to dial it in. Another thing, the 386 op amp went out, blew. Didn't do anything really, just all of a sudden it wasn't getting nothing through, Son of a gun, the 386 is no good. So, that's kind of the way it's been with this thing. Here's... Mikey's singing for us now. I suppose if we put it somewhere and didn't touch it, it might stay that way. But you start messing with this dial, and you might get it in one moment and then go to adjust and redo something, and all of a sudden she's out like crazy. So that's the problems I had with that. So trying to do all these other, the final tests, I really couldn't do them. And at least not by going by the book. So next video I'm going to do, I want to go in here and I'm going to do a little more work now that I wanted to get us through this, kind of show you what happened, what's going on. I did, the voltages are correct for the FM. We are getting stations in. I did do some adjusting, but I think it can be done a lot better in the AM and FM. So that was going to be my next video is going in and doing stuff on our own, what other people use that's not in the book. So with that, that's where we're at right now. The final thing is, after going through all this, I wish I would have known this when I first started. Would I advise somebody or recommend this particular radio kit to someone? No, and especially no if they're a beginner, because I think chances are there's going to be something, parts are going to be screwed up. You're going to be stuck in you might get halfway through it and that's it. It'll go in the box, it'll go in the closet or in the basement, and it won't be brought out again until somebody else wants to try to mess with it, or else you might get more experience and do it on your own. But doing it by the book and doing the parts that they give you, remember I already replaced an IF can too, so I wouldn't recommend it. It's been an experience. I know some people, they get it and all the parts are good and it works great and everything's fine. Then there's these, and some don't. So I wouldn't recommend it on a crapshoot. So that's the way I'm putting it here. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for following on this so far. And like I said, I think it'll actually, doing it the way I'm going to do it next, I think we'll actually learn more about radios and stuff. I don't think this was that big of a learning tool like I wanted it to be. But so anyway, so that's where we are. And what I wanted to do, let me adjust it there. So let me mess with this a little bit. I've been getting testing equipment. I've actually got a sweep generator that that I'm going to try to get working and figure out. It's a Sylvania, it's an older one. I want to try working on that. I want to get it so maybe I can get my scope to where the scope picks up where it's supposed to. I've got my my other signal generator, my Heath kit. I put that, you know, I got the parts for that. I put that together, and that's working really well. The ICO is still working, but now I've got two of them in case I need, you know, one to do one thing, and one of them I can use like as for a marker in the sweep generator. But anyway, and then I got the one that your friend John sent me, God bless him, and that one I've got the parts down, and that's going to be like a special project where I just go through the whole thing and like replace everything and make it like, because it is like brand new. So, but the, you know, the caps and stuff are old. So the stuff that needs to be replaced, I'm gonna put brand new, and then I'll have like a brand new audio generator, which I think would be pretty cool. So that's where I'm at right now. And thank you once again for sticking with me on this one. And like I said, now we're going to go into another phase of this. Okay, we're going to step out of the kit, and now we're going to go in and just start messing with it as technicians, just playing around and see what we can find. Okay, until then, everybody have a fantastic day. This is the 4th of July weekend for us here in the States, so for all of my American friends here, happy 4th, and don't party dangerously, just party hardy and have fun, you know. And I will be seeing you in the next video, and we'll sit down and I'll kind of show you what I'm planning on doing on that one. Till then, God bless everybody, take care, bye-bye.